Right, it's sharp 8. Let's begin.
Okay.
Is my voice echoing?
No, we're. I think I can hear it well. It's fine.
Right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Hope you guys are having a great DrupalCon, and hopefully, we all will be meeting next year at DrupalCon 2022. And some a couple of things before we start our session is please add your questions in the Q&A section. The chat might just like we might lose on the questions over there in the chat section. And before we start, we'd also like you to take a poll. There's a poll we've added in the poll section. So we would like to hear your thoughts about your content authoring experience. And post this session, we'll be Abhay and I will be at our QD42 booth to answer any questions we may not be able to address during our session, and also to just chat about our content authoring experiences. So before we dive into our session, like how how to empower your marketing team with DIY layout builder using paragraphs. So this session is basically we are sharing our experience of what we did with our website recently, and so we'd like to hear what you were doing with your website as well. So going forward, right, next slide. We'd like to introduce ourselves. I am Ruchika. I have been a Drupal user and a content editor for the past 5 years, and I'm a digital marketing strategist at QD42.
Hi guys, I'm Abhay. I'm the technical lead, mostly working on backend. I make Drupal solutions and for custom Drupal solutions for QED42. I've been working in Drupal for over 7 years now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so a little bit about our organization. We're a Drupal provider delivering digital experiences for various industries like higher ed, nonprofits, e-commerce, and many more. Let's hop on to the agenda. Okay, so you've met us, and next we're going to share our experience with Layout Builder, the challenges that we face. Yeah, so the challenges we face. We recently have also redesigned our website, qed42.com, with a design system called a space that we created, and we've implemented paragraphs in a very interesting way. We'll also show you how we address the issues and demands of our content team and give you a demo of our DIY layout builder with paragraphs. And we'll be wrapping it up with a Q&A session. And like I said, we would love for you to share your experience and journey as a content editor, user. Uh, yeah. So let's get into it. So, what do content editors need? So, whether you are working as a part of a marketing group or you're an individual creating unique and engaging content, what is essential is to build which is essential for building and sustaining any type of business, right? With the ecosystem of technology to support content creation, it's been changing, and it's becoming larger, and it's also very confusing to figure out at times, right? So coming to what do content editors need? So I'm a content editor, and I will put on some points, and please share your uh, thoughts on it in the chat section as well. So what I need is I need more control on my content. I need an intuitive UI, better media management. I need faster turnaround times, which means I don't want to be dependent on the dev team, for making changes. So I need my content authoring experience to be flexible. And yeah, moving on. So before this, we just launched our website a week back. And before that, we were on Drupal 9 and we were using a layout builder up until now. So our experience with layout builder was that we used a component based approach, and the layout builder translated them into sections and blocks. So there was a learning curve for us, and once we got a hold of it, the content team was happy creating visual layouts with the limited options. Now I can say limited, but that time we were really happy with the blocks to create landing pages. We were publishing blogs and case studies very fast. So when did things start spiraling? So things started spiraling when we wanted to actually disassemble the elements that were there in a block and use them as and when we where we wanted. So our implementation did not allow us to do that. If I wanted to create, for example, we wanted to create a landing page for DrupalCon North America, and we didn't want to restrict ourselves to the blocks and that layout we had created with Layout Builder. And just to get one landing page up, it required around more than a week, and we had a lot of to and fro with the dev team, and it required theming and CSS, and it was a mess. So it was really a pain in yeah a pain for us. Going forward, so why was the layout builder? Why the layout builder wasn't enough for us? Like I said, it was too inflexible for us. So when we thought of implementing layout builders, our dev team was like, okay, Drupal has got a lot of modules and it's flexible, so we can deliver whatever you want. Up to a certain point, it was true, but after a point, it wasn't. Okay, then there was a huge dependability on the developers. Even if I wanted to, for simple, if I just wanted to add a URL to, a hyperlink to an image, I needed to run to a developer. If I wanted to move a CTA in some place which it was not, designed to be or developed to be, then again I had to, go to the development team. So this led to a lot of slower turnaround times, and we weren't truly independent. Um, a lot apart from that, we there were we didn't have solid control on content, yet we did not feel it, and with minimal clicks, that is what we really wanted. And we did not have the flexibility to play around with layouts. So um, for me, I had not used paragraphs ever before. So the only thing that I'd seen was layout builder. And I was, yeah, it was shiny and sparkly at that time. But I realized that what if, okay, I add a section, and then I've added a two column layout to it. Okay. But if the content requirements change and I want to convert it into a four column, so I had to delete my earlier one, add another, then again, add content to it, and so on and so forth. Um, so yeah, it wasn't flexible at all. Abhay, would you like to add in a little bit more about how layout build does not wasn't
Right. So
flexible?
because our implementation was also initially we started out as a quite a custom implementation. We had one theme. We were given a base theme. We implemented that, and then the design system was quite good. They come up with variations of the same components which we were not able to accommodate. So which currently in our implementation we have kind of followed their same system, and we have used I'll explain that in the coming terms. So we have kind of followed their same system, which kind of make it possible for them to come up with the variations, and we are able to accommodate them without adding in any developer time. All right. So I think yeah. Now I'll uh, go on to how we created this and how the development journey of this part was, if that's okay, Ruchika. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, how we started out when we were decided to revamp our website. There was a new design using our design system space, and I wanted to know what the current pain points were. So I went to Ruchika and I asked her, what are the difficulties that the content team faces? And it's mostly all we hear about with Drupal most of the time is the steep learning curve and the difficult to onboard new people. And for site builders, Drupal site builders, it's quite simple, and we're all excited about Layout Builder and the new changes and whatever flexibility it provides us to create pages. But when it comes to, it's like the main pain points were that when I have to sit in a 2 hour 3 hour call to show them how this works, or there are like to add a block I have to click this button and then I have to click this button, and there's a lot of clicks and there's a lot of steps to do that, and I might forget these steps or and things like that. So what I wanted to do was to create a simple, intuitive, and the user should be prompted. So you add a layout first, okay, one column to six column. Okay, so let me just move to the next slide, which is the solution. All right. So basically, we wanted a simple, intuitive content editing experience, which should be time and cost efficient, because we it's our internal website and we don't have a dedicated team working on our website. It's anybody who is free or available. So we wanted to accommodate that aspect as well. So what we did was, so initially what we decided to do, we use paragraphs, and we create, like, using Bootstrap as the base theme. We use paragraphs to provide a layouts, 1 to 6 column layout, and inside those columns we define, again, other paragraphs. We create components using these paragraphs, like a text component, a video component, an image component. And now we already have so many options. You can add any, like, 2 column layout, left side image, right side text, and so on. The variations are infinite. And now what we have done is, these components are exactly kind of like how the design team has implemented them as well. So the design team has their own component system. So they have an icon and what the variations of it, a button and the variations of it. So I try to do that as well in handling our paragraph. So we have a CTA component, which we have different variations. We can make it into a button, we can make it into a link, we can align it left, right, and center. So all the variations that the design team has already come up with, I will try to implement the same as settings for that button. Similarly with the image component. So you want to add a link, you want to make the image clickable, you want to align the image left, right, center, and so on. And then we, along with the 6 column layout, the spacing. So the design team has wanted to space each component. So we thought, instead of statically keeping the spaces to a certain every page to limit it like that, we'll add a component for that as well. So you can define your spaces manually. All right. So now, and then we also, the main problem with paragraphs that many people face is that it does not have previews, right? And that is something that even the content team was adamant about. They needed the previews, and that was very helpful with the layout builder. And we did the same thing for our paragraphs-based approach by using the module layout paragraphs. So that gives, for the initial edit page, all the layouts were, we could see the previews, and it came perfectly because we use because of the kind of solution that we came up with, which I will get into it in a minute. All right. So basically, and also, if I don't know, with paragraphs, there is also an easy way to rearrange it in the edit page, the drag and drop feature using sortable.js. I'm not sure how many of you have used this or heard of it. It's not documented. There is a ticket out there in Drupal.org to document it correctly. So that provides us the flexibility to rearrange icons from within paragraphs to other paragraphs. So you have a 4-column layout, you want to make it into a 2-column layout. You add the 2-column layout and drag and drop the components to the left and right columns from the 4 components. I will show you this also in the coming. So anyway, coming to the key Drupal modules that we have used the UI patterns to kind of make it into a component-based approach. So each component is independent of the base styles in JavaScript and also independent of other components. So if I have, say, an odometer component, it has its own CSS file, it has its own JS file. If you add the odometer component on a page, that CSS and JS file will be loaded. So in doing this, we are able to isolate the design, the component as per the design that the designer gives us as well. So they have their own component system. We have our mirror component system, which is mirroring exactly what they are giving us. So which allows us to actually, tap into the variations that they want as well. All right. So the layout paragraphs, as I mentioned, to kind of give a, there is a layout paragraphs form mode, which helps us give a preview to in the edit page. And some paragraphs enhancements module I use to, categorize and the components that we have. So basically what we have done is we've created text component, video component, image component, these small components. And it was still difficult for the content editor because, to create a page layout like a 3-column layout with an image and a text in each column, you still have to do a lot of clicks. You have to click, upload image, click, add component type. So what we did is we grouped some of these smaller components together, and then we create larger components so that in one click, you can say it's kind of like templatizing it. You click one button and you have all the fields you need to fill. You just need to fill those fields and you have that component. All right. And in this solution, we use paragraphs because we needed to keep our options limited. We have certain components. We already know all the components. We already know all the variations. And the design team used their components, created bigger components, and using those bigger components, they created the pages. We did the same thing. We created the main small atomic components, created bigger components using them, and we created pages using those components. So in that sense, paragraphs is perfect because we just need to create that many paragraphs as we need. All right. Okay. And once all the components are assembled, the content editor should just be able to create any pages with various combinations as per the design. And I'm going to show you how we've done this. All right. So basically, as of now, since we went up, there's been no, the variations are possible. From the design we get requests, it goes up. It's easy. All right. There's no, hey, going to the developer saying, hey, I need this styled this way. The padding is not right. Nothing like that. All right. So let's go. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, so this is how, just wanted to show you a preview of how we use the pattern UI. So basically, in the templates folder, we put the .twig.tpl file, right? So when we're using the pattern UI module, we just create pattern folders like this. So odometer has a folder. We define the pattern in the pattern YML file, and then we add its style and CSS, and we add it to this component, just like we add the .libraries file in when you do your regular theme or a regular .libraries YML. All right, and just like so, when you add this component to a page, all of these will be loaded, and not before. Okay, so it's a very effective process, I would say. So we are kind of isolating each component, and so the style changes or alterations or variations that the design team comes up with can be done individually without affecting the other components. All right. And if you go to the /patterns URL, you can, I'll just show you the screenshot of that. You can see all your patterns, okay? All the patterns or all the components you have defined. So basically here, when we're talking about patterns, it's components, okay? And so yeah, there you go. This is the /patterns, and it'll list all the components that you want. You click on any one of these components, and you can see how it looks. So this also means that it's advantages for our development time, because the front end can start work on it and make it look like the pattern that we want, so without the back end actually in the picture, and then the back end can add the fields and make that mapping. So as you can see here, in the fields you add what are the fields you need, and then in the .twig file you display those fields. So here in the field after the colon, the developer can actually add whatever the dummy content, if you will, an image or whatever that requires. So let me show you how it is done here. So for example, this is our testimonial item pattern. So let me just quickly show you where we have used this. So there you can see in our homepage, we have a testimonial component or slider. So each of this item is a component, is a testimonial item component, which is a pattern as well. So that pattern you can see when you go to the /patterns, and then you click on the testimonial item. So this means that if you're given an image and some text, the design team, the front end team can actually start work on this if the back end is not even done. So that was very helpful for us because we were running on a tight schedule. All right. And okay, so let's just go to some, so basically this is how the pages and the components that we have created. So let me just show you a small on how it works. So basically, this form edit mode is possible because of the layout paragraphs module. They did an excellent job in giving this view. So even though in the patterns in the theme we have defined the theme in the YAML files, and we have defined a twig. In the backend, it uses the same styles that we have defined in the front end theme. When we on the edit page. On the edit page, it's not using the admin team to render this. It is using the front end team because we are using the patterns UI module. All right. So let's see. So when you click on add, you're prompted again to add a 1 to 6 column layout. Okay. So, and then you add a 2-column layout. Okay. And then you are asked to add any component to this column 1 and column 2. So it's pretty simple. Okay. So as you can see, these are all our base components: image, spacing, CTA, slider, text. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so this page, okay, is actually I recreated this page. This is our product engineering page. Okay, so let me show you that page. Here it goes. Okay. I think our time is up, but I'll just give you this short demo, and then you can continue this at our booth where we'll be. I'll show you more, and you can ask your questions, and we can discuss our different approaches to content authoring. All right. So this is basically we have created a bigger component with a text component, an image component, and another text component. All right. So this is our banner component. The same thing can be created using a text component, an individual text component, and then adding a two-column layout, and then on the left side adding an image component, and on the right side adding a space, text, and spacing component. All right. So that's basically how we have created everything. All right. Using these smaller components, we create a bigger component so that it is easy for the development team to just quickly add content. All right. So I've had a couple of more things to show for the demo, but I guess our time is up. And Ruchika, we can take this to our booth, or should I give a?
Let's take it to a booth. I don't think we should spill over.
Okay.
I'm just adding a link to a booth, and we'll be having a demo over there. So please join us, and we'll be having a question and answer round as well over there. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
in
Thank you
the
for all
chat,
for joining.
please join us there, and yeah.
Thank you.